There were many different faces to resistance against the decades of racial oppression in South Africa. Blacks, whites, those labeled as coloreds, and Indians all played a major role in tearing down the walls of segregation. It's here at the No. 4 prison in Johannesburg where many freedom fighters were incarcerated, including Prema Naidu, who recalls his own dark past here.
Conditions here were quite horrific at the time. Beating was a regular occurrence, swearing, shouting, insulting you from morning till night. Place was infested with rats and lice.
Gandhi found himself behind bars here in 1908. His involvement in the country's racial turbulence was triggered 15 years earlier when he first arrived in South Africa in 1893 on a temporary assignment. While traveling to Pretoria, he was thrown off a train for refusing to leave his seat in a whites-only compartment. An infamous incident immortalized in this Oscar-winning film. The humiliating experience propelled Gandhi to develop the philosophy of passive resistance known as satyagraha, or fighting with peace. What was meant to be a short stop in South Africa turned into a 21-year stay, protesting policies of segregation and helping build a foundation for generations of activists. But Gandhi was criticized for only focusing on the struggle of Indians and not for the majority of blacks during his time in South Africa. Even during the apartheid era, it wasn't easy to convince either side that they were part of the same fight, especially since Indians were given more privileges than the African population.
Mandela at the time doesn't really like the idea of wanting to work with people who are Indian and who are communist and who are white, because the ANC and the ANC Youth League at the time thinks that the struggle needs to be fought by African people without having alliances with anybody else.
But as racial laws intensified, so did the need for reformed parties, bringing both sides together. In 1947, the leaders of the ANC and two Indian Congress parties came together to sign a joint declaration of cooperation, known as the Three Doctors Pact, uniting all non-Europeans in a joint struggle. And while it didn't fully eliminate Indian-African tensions, the eventual alliance saw a strong bond form between Nelson Mandela and Amit Kathrada, Uncle Kathy, as he's affectionately known.
So Amit Kathrada actually challenged Nelson Mandela. Certainly the African population is the most oppressed, but we are all oppressed and we have to make common cause against the oppressor.
Kathrada spent 26 years in jail, many of which were on Robben Island, alongside Mandela.
They developed a bond of friendship that was unbroken till the day President Mandela passed on.
Today, the prison grounds, which once held people like Gandhi and Mandela, sits next to South Africa's Constitutional Court, a national heritage site known as Constitutional Hill, considered a reminder of the united fight during the country's bitter past, but also its journey to democracy.
Thanks for watching Global News. If you enjoyed what you saw, like the video. You can also hit the subscribe button for all the latest international news and trending videos.